Hello, today I want to try to start to explicate The Merchant of Venice by William Shakespeare. So, we'll read the synopsis first. So, in the play, there is a merchant called Antonio. Antonio, the merchant in The Merchant of Venice, secures a loan from Shylock for his friend Bassanio, who seeks to court Portia. So, we're told that there are three main characters. Three of the main characters are Antonio, who is the merchant in the title The Merchant of Venice, and Antonio the merchant secures a loan from Shylock. Shylock is a Jew, Shylock is a money lender, and Antonio wants to get the loan for his friend Bassanio. So Bassanio wants to court Portia. He wants to marry Portia. So he needs money. So Shylock, a Jewish money lender, recalls past insults from Antonio and instead of asking for interest on the loan, asks instead in what he calls a merry sport that if the loan is not repaid, Antonio will owe a pound of his own flesh. So Shylock is a Jewish moneylender, and Jewish moneylenders are very cruel. So, Antonio is a Christian, and in the past, he has often insulted Shylock. He has often insulted Shylock in front of others in the marketplace. So, now that Antonio wants money from him, Shylock recalls these past insults from Antonio and he doesn't want interest on the loan. Instead of asking for interest on the loan, he asks in what he calls a merry sport. Let's try to place a bet. Let's have, you know, exciting game, right? So if the loan is not repaid, Antonio will have to repay with a pound of his own flesh. So these are the terms on which Shylock lends Antonio the money. So Shylock lends the money to Antonio, and Antonio gives it to Bassanio. Bassanio sails to Belmont. Belmont is the place where Portia lives. Bassanio sails to Belmont, where the wealthy heiress Portia is being courted by suitors from around the world. So Portia lives in Belmont, and Portia is a wealthy heiress. Heiress is one who has inherited a lot of wealth, a lot of fortune. So, and Portia is being wooed by many, uh, you know, suitors from around the world. So, there is the Prince of Morocco and the Prince of Aragon. Bassanio himself is another, and there are many others who want to marry Portia. And so, her father's will requires that the successful suitor solve a riddle involving chests of gold, silver, and lead. So, Portia's father knows that Portia will be courted by many suitors. So, just before his death, he has left behind a condition on which Portia will marry. That condition is that the suitor who wants to try to win Portia's hand will have to choose from three chests. These three chests, these three caskets are made of gold. One is made of gold, another is made of silver, and third is made of lead. So the idea is whoever chooses the right casket which has Portia's portrait in it will win Portia's hand. So and this is the condition on which Portia is to marry. So, where others have failed, Bassanio succeeds by selecting the right chest. So, Bassanio succeeds, many others have affair. Portia marries Bassanio, and her waiting woman Nerissa marries his friend Gratiano. So Bassanio has a friend called Gratiano. Portia marries Bassanio, and Nerissa, who is the lady in waiting of Portia, marries Gratiano. Shylock's daughter Jessica has eloped with Bassanio's friend Lorenzo, taking her father's money with her. So Shylock's daughter, whose name is Jessica, has fallen in love with Lorenzo. Lorenzo, and she has run away from her home to marry Lorenzo because she knows that her father, Shylock, will not consent to have her marry Lorenzo. So she runs away after taking her father's money with her. Shylock is devastated. Shylock is broken. When Antonio cannot repay the loan, Shylock demands a pound of flesh. So now Shylock has been wounded, right? He has been insulted by Antonio in the past, and now that his daughter has also run away, and Antonio cannot repay the loan, Shylock demands the pound of flesh. When the news reaches Belmont, Bassanio returns to Venice. So Bassanio is celebrating his marriage in Belmont. So the news of Antonio's predicament reaches Belmont, and and Bassanio returns to Venice. Portia and Nerissa also travel to Venice, disguised as a lawyer and his clerk. So Portia wants to help Bassanio and Antonio. She disguises herself as a lawyer, and Nerissa, her lady in waiting, disguises herself as a lawyer's clerk, and they both go to Venice. Portia uses the law to defeat Shylock and rescue Antonio. So finally, Portia uses the law to defeat Shylock and rescue Antonio. So